Hey, I'm Chet Udell, and I'm going to briefly go over the eMotion VST plugin, which essentially lets you control a VST effect on any different sound source. So for now, I just drug in a sound file of water. Make sure you have your gain turned up. You can use a microphone or sawtooth wave again. Make sure loop is on if you want to keep that loop. And then here's where you select your VST, and this list should have a populated list of all available VSTs to you. And then clicking this button here will bring up a window. Now that's kind of fun to play with. How do we get the digital data workstation to control your VST parameters? Well, let's check it out. First of all, we need to know what VST controls which. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this real fast. Or which VST parameter I want to control. Well, notice how when I'm dragging this around, you'll see control number and the values here. And so as I drag back and forth, that's parameter number 1, and it looks like I'm getting that value in hertz. So all the way up to 20,000 and then down to 6,000. Now, as I go up and down, notice how parameter number 2, and I'm getting that as, probably my Q value, something like that. Or maybe that's it, dB. I'm getting the resonance of that peak in dB. All right, so next thing you want to do is use the learn mode. So param 1, I'm just going to drag this back and forth. Good, and then turn it off. And that sets param 1 as dragging back and forth. Notice how that's param 1. And now param 2, I'm going to take that and just drag this up and down. And notice how this number turned from a 6 into a 2. I'm going to turn that off. So now I have param 1 is set to my side-to-side sweep. Param 2 is set to up and down. That was just using the learn mode. Make sure you switch it to off in between each parameter you set. And now I'm ready to go to the digital data workstation and set my data tracks to those param numbers. So here you should have already started up your accelerate, your fuse is on, and everything's calibrated. Last thing is go to VST. Let's do param 1, and I'll do this one at a time. I'll set accelerometer X, and then I'm just going to go ahead and turn this on, and I want you to notice something. Something screwy is going on around here, which is, notice how I'm tilting it from side to side, and nothing's really happening. Well, take a look. I'm getting data values from +1 to -1. And remember, the sweep wanted you to give the data values in hertz. Now, there's kind of a sweet spot that I enjoyed sweeping between, which is about 800 hertz up to 12,000 hertz. So I'm going to go ahead and use my digital data workstation to process that data range from -1, +1 to 800 to, what did I say, 12,000, I believe was the number. Okay. So all the way to one side versus all the way down to another side. And I'm also going to turn down this resistance here. That way I get a pretty fast frequency response. And now let's go ahead and take a look at how that is doing here. So notice how as I tilt it, it's going down, and then as I twist this the way it goes up. Well, it's kind of backwards, right? So I need to invert that. So it's just a simple matter of changing this to 12,000 and this to 800. And now I have my sweep done correctly. And now I'm going to go ahead and set my y-axis. Oops. My y-axis to be, let's see, what is it? Between 0 and, let's say, 30 dB. Or why not 40? Let's get crazy. So I'm going to create another track, accelerate, y. I'm going to make sure my data is processed from -1, +1 to 0 to, what did I say? I think 40. And let's go ahead and turn that resistance down a bit. That must have been up from a previous session. I'm going to assign this to VST param 2. And go back here. And Oh, you know why? That's not changing because I forgot to turn on the rescale. So now it's going to 0, between 0 and 40. And I'm also going to do, instead of -1, I'm going to do 0. Because from 0 to 1 goes to 0 to 40, which insinuates that if I go to -1, I'll probably get -40, which is about what I'm getting. All right, and now let's take a look. So I got up, down, right, left. And if I want to give myself some more bottom range, it's just a matter of teasing this data track to give me more bottom range. So instead of 800, I'll go down to 400. And here we go. So now I'm getting more bottom range here. All right, now let's turn that on and hear how it goes. Pretty cool. And so you can imagine sticking this onto your guitar to control delay or distortion, or whatever you want, whatever VST effect you have on your computer. And there you go. And then the next time you want to perform, it's just a simple matter of opening up this VST app, and then your digital data workstation should just save all those settings, and you're ready to go. Thanks a lot.